All right, folks, let's go ahead and get this show on the road, shall we? And bring out your first team. Put your hands together for Furia.
I know there's at least 4 people in the crowd right now clapping loud for Furia walking through as we were just asking.
They were in.
They were in. Yeah, definitely this team. They are in dire straits for sure. They have to step up to the plate. We did so many math scenarios, but most importantly, they just have to win their next 2 games to make sure they have a chance even to make it into the top 4.
Yeah, that's right. Furia, of course, a lot of pressure on this team. You heard in the interview before, right? Who is that going to be on more so? And, well, yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Furia 0-3, they need this win, just like the way they need to breathe, pretty much.
They've had good moments. They've had good moments in maps against Energy, for example, good rounds as well, Heat as well, popping up as we've been talking about, but a lot more is going to be needed if they want to stay alive here, not eliminated from this.
Well, let's go ahead and bring out their opponents. Welcome to the stage, everyone in the Riot Games Arena. It's Cloud9.
This is also a chance for Cloud9 to even continue their streak and make it top of the group. So this is going to be still a very important game. I think for a lot of teams, it's like, yeah, it's cool to make it into the playoffs. We know the stakes are a little bit lower here for Cloud9, but to get a bye into the playoffs is still super important for this team.
Yeah, it would be massive if they were able to accomplish that right now, Dryad.
We need to remember as well that Cloud9 are always the gods when it comes to the group stages. They're always winning these matches. They are always making it to playoffs. And now they're trying to make it past that step, right? Not only make it to playoffs, but move that step forward and make it all the way to Toronto. That is going to be their end goal. And they've been working on it so well. When you talk about the maps that they've been playing every single map but Icebox. And it is the preparation that they have that they're facing no matter who, and they're ready for it.
Well, here's your series layout, and we're going to get Lotus, Pearl, and if necessary, we'll take a trip over to Split. Lotus and Pearl, kind of shocked to see, Ascent, not in the rotation here, Dryad. I thought that we would see Furia probably lock that one in.
But it hasn't really gone
Work
their
for them.
way, to be honest. And Cloud9 do look like the best team on Ascent.
Oh, that's fair. Good point.
It was that question of the 2 when they're playing the double sentinel. So we're not going to be seeing that. Instead, we're going to go into Lotus. And that is one that gives Furia at least a chance.
Well, like I've mentioned before, double digits against G2. They had a great start of like an 8-0 pretty much on their attack side. But then when it came against the Energy game, they actually won that map, right? So it's the only one where they have actually good success. You go back into the rest of the pool, though, again, Pearl, I don't think they scored even more than 5 rounds in that map. So, yes, I have to focus right here onto Lotus. That's the start that you want. And they've had all the chances in their favor for Furia every time they kick off these series just because they get to play Lotus first. Think about it. When they played against Leviathan banned that map. They didn't play any Lotus. What happens after? Very one-sided results.
And if you want one more thing to go off of Furia winning this map potentially, it is the fact that when Cloud9 played this map last time, they could only get 3 rounds on the attacking side, which is very, very uncommon. They're going to be starting on the attacking side as well. It should be favored, but if things go the same way, Furia can get some momentum.
Yeah, this is Furia that knows what's at stake for them here, and a Cloud9 that needs to be careful because in the VCT, you cannot underestimate any of the opponents. You're here for a reason. These are still some of the best players to play the game, so you're always going to need to put some respect on your opponent regardless. That being said, on the C9 side, though, I think one of the things that really excites me eventually about this team, they're a young squad, right? But they're also, you could see the hunger. You could see the want to win. And also, it seems like they have fun with one another as well, which is very important when you're trying to build up this roster and get to the heights that this team wants to reach.
Definitely, especially with Mitch at the helm here leading this team. He's going to be more like the serious one trying to get things going, but you have so many hype men in this roster, being Net, for example, when he's calling on the defensive side. You're looking here, at least the agents coming up for Furia's side. Doesn't look like there's going to be any changes going into that one here. Clove has been something that he loves to use for this roster, and again, it allows for them to be quite explosive in these fights. It's just on the side of Cloud9. I don't think there should be any changes at all either. That neon wall that they've been throwing for that tree side that gives Oxy so much space to work with on the A side attack, I think that's one of the key things they want to look out for in their defaults.
And remember what he said, is a Furia that struggles against the Tejo utility, and on top of that, with Net on the Cypher, that is a really good counter for the Neon on the other side. You look at it, there are no Sentinels on that side.
Well, let's go ahead and get this first map underway. Send it over to your casters. Bars will be dropped. Fresh fashion trends will be had. It's Uber and Wyatt.
Yeah, he's talking about me definitely my outfit over yours.
Oh, yeah. Yours is. You're looking nice and spiffy.
A trend is a trend, brother. Regardless of what you think about it, great to have you back here, of course, in the Riot Games arena. Cloud9 on the precipice of qualification for playoffs here. It's just a mild stumble in a banger matchup against MIBR. They've got to be feeling confident going up against a team who all 5 players are in the bottom 25% of ACS in Americas. Not a great stat for Furia. They're looking for redemption.
Absolutely. Cloud9, the story is simple. Win today, they're in playoffs. That's something that, as an org, as a team, they've managed to do a number of times in VCT, but they haven't made it all the way yet. Maybe this is a squad that they can do it with.
It's time for Samsung match start. Load up fast with Samsung SSDs, and we're heading into Lotus, a map that we didn't expect to see here. It's not been great for C9. Feels like Furia kind of really got their pick of the litter to get this map in. I'm surprised it wasn't banned.
Absolutely the best opportunity to take a map. As Vans mentioned on the desk, it's the only map that they've won so far against NRG earlier this year.
Oh, buddy, we know C9 like to fight in these early rounds or on that attack side to begin with here, and Havoc barely extracts himself from what would have been a maelstrom of attackers. But Cloud9 aren't wasting any time. This rat comes quickly, but of course there's a contingency. Trapwire's going to spot them out, and C9 know they're on a timer to hit this site.
That barely able to cross there as Furia are really trying to accelerate C9. They're making the right play. They want to take extra space, get into halls. Havoc going to feel the pressure here.
Slow, strong wind to blow him over. He's going to get his one, and that's it. Cloud9 are going to push straight on through. This now throws things into disarray for Furia. You can see Heat's trying to match them on pace. He's going to be able to meet them here, but he will be outnumbered, and C9 will check for this. Heat on the angle. Oh, well, Frenzy not going to get it done for him, and now that whittles Furia down to 2 players who aren't really in the vicinity.
Unfortunately, that's just not the greatest range for the Frenzy. I can't blame him for trying to catch someone off, even just get a little damage and swing back. But now his team in that 2 versus 3. Mitch has got the fault line cycled back up. Zeppa, same with the salvos.
Prize and Rafa, the former, offered a pretty nice contract here, but as he leaves his previous team 2G, they've done better since his departure, and he's got a score to settle. Net's out of the game. It's up to Mitch and Zeppi here, close to this underside now, and Price needs to find the correct timing. He's opened up for Rafa to come on in. A 1-for-1, and Zeppa will close it out.
A strong start for Zeppa, who has been more than a standout for this C9 roster so far in 2025. Had a lot of question marks around him as a player from the community coming into this year.
He's been vindicated.
Oh, certainly. He has really been phenomenal. And you know, on this map, of course, playing Tejo, but reprising that role as a duelist when C9 opt to go for that look of 2 duelists with him and Oxy, who's getting hyped as already usual for him. Off to a great start, C9.
Obviously, a loss against MIBR, but Cloud9 showed their resilience and depth, almost making a ridiculous comeback in the last map of that series. Of course, they're hungry. He hears all of this now. He's going to try and get the ruse in place. Buy a bit of time for Furia to respond to this.
Oxy isn't very quick with the stinger. There's only 1 Sheriff to the defensive side of Furia who are trying to stack up just outside of the choke points.
They're playing off the site now, a bit of util for Furia to work with, and Oxy's going to push towards holes, and he riddles Prize and Heat full of bullet holes. Rafa can't do much else either, and it's up to Khalil, one of the longest standing members of any team in Americas, the longest standing man on this roster. Has very little to do, and very little to do it with.
Wouldn't be mad at Mitch trying to go for a hunt here. It does look like he's taking point. He's getting fairly close to that Rolling Thunder early, but a wider point that I want to take this opportunity to touch on is C9 have captured the early momentum of this game. It's just looking at the mental of this Furia team, because they looked completely out of it in the previous matches that we've seen them play, especially against Leviathan. It looked like they just lost the will to win, the drive that they had.
Where's the hunger?
Yeah, where is it? They need to find that, and they can't let this early disadvantage already get in their heads, get them back into that really poor mental space that we saw them in, where comms were lacking, that fire was lacking. Here's their opportunity, though. First full buy of the game.
Oxy already out to 4 kills here. Absolutely getting rolling. And here's where we get to see what Furia have been working on. This is the best map for them to show the fruits of their labor. Might have come a little bit too late in this stage 1, already 0-3.
See what it is to just play off that self-drone, which is broken early, and then because of that contact, immediate stun. This is lovely util from C9, but the counter util effective at keeping Oxy at bay.
Yeah, the fire rate reduction there for Oxy made it very hard for him to get any inroads. So he takes a chunk of damage, and Furia are able to fall back onto this B side, but heads now are turning in that C direction. It's going to be Khalil, the grizzled veteran, the sole player on the site.
That was a really cool set util combo from C9 to try and find an opening on this bonus round, but you have to respect that counter util from Furia that got them out safely from what was a very dangerous scenario.
What?
Vic just random spam into the site, catches Khalil. That is tragic.
That's the stall util is gone. 50 seconds left in the round. Furia now know they're probably just going to have to take a full execute here, and they're getting in position to receive it. Havoc's moved up, another brilliant fault line that catches on the multiple players. Havoc can't see the wood for the trees now as the paranoia comes in, and he is blocked off from the action. Rafa as well towards halls. Furia had to give up the site again.
Spike is going to be planted. Vic, standard position for the Omen up on top box. C9, they need to stay within the site, not exactly a spam angle to play off of. Fault line coming through. Havoc wants to gain space off it.
Fast lane used, but Havoc gets cut down as Oxy's ready to meet him at that impasse. Mitch is stuck here, and he's going to spray and pray. Rafa's able to find yet another one. The numbers are even here. The close smokes are dissipating, and Vic needs to find this. He backs off the angle. He's going to push for more here, and Zephyr's not on the side. Rafa ends around with 3, and a very important staging ground developed now for Furia.
I really feel that the round importance there was massive for Furia. Again, going back to the mental struggles that we've seen them have as a team, where the communication falls off, the vibe is just tarnished for the squad. Like, that was desperately needed. Okay, deep breath, we're in the game. Our economy isn't broken from a bonus where C9 just capture immediate full momentum in the server. Again, there's Havoc. He is the one guy every week when they win a round, you see him. He is the guy getting hyped for the team.
That's the kind of player that Furia really need right now.
And it's funny, when you go back to the beginning of his career in Americas last year, he had no confidence. That was his biggest fault. And now he's the guy trying to bring it for the team.
Oh, that's not a great start to another free pick for C9 over on the B side of the C side of the map, excuse me. Again, they don't bother with A, even though they wanted to fight Rubble so much against MIBR.
I do like that C9 are going to try to continue exploiting this C site. Furia do not have a lot of stopping power with this comp. There's no vice to slow you down. There are no kill trips placed on the site. So you, as a Neon, know you can just get right in there with ease. The only thing to stop you is maybe a fault line. That's about it, right? Or well-timed Cs. It's not too much to contend with.
2 Rolling Thunders in play right now, or at least on the table. So Furia have retake util to work with. But Zephyr's waiting for them, and Rafa gets cut down. At least he's able to make it a trade. Aftershock catches Mitch out, as clearly he wasn't able to move, rooted in place, and Furia don't feel it. They don't like what they've seen here at all. They're out of there.
They really have no choice but to save at that point, unfortunately. C9, I like the proactivity and taking forward space after they're getting the spike down. You can see, again, Oxy's pushed up back halls, and it's only Havoc trying to get back in there, and it feels like he can't. He's getting paranoid. He feels that if he swings, there are going to be multiple players facing him. And then as Furia have to go back in, again, you're just contending with the Taeho breach in this meta, and you're at that early disadvantage because of Oxy. I mean,
that kill on Rafa feels like it almost sealed the deal on that round. Furia potentially were hoping to play around a Rolling Thunder to take that mount control or hit the site, but having a trade of breaches there basically negated that possibility.
On the front of the ultimate, specifically the Rolling Thunder you mentioned, there are 2 of them active in the server at the moment for either squad. On a round of some serious importance for Furia, their economy is hanging in the balance, and it looks like they want to go for perhaps a trap play towards C, or maybe the teleport across. They try to fight off this one-way smoke. Fault line comes in, but this time Cloud9, they don't fully commit over to the mound direction. They might have just pulled Furia into a pretty exposed position. They're waiting. They really are hoping that this over-push is going to come, and they know because of that passive trip the net's thrown over towards A, who was once playing Deadlock on this map, but they've now switched to the Cypher. And that's allowing them to get info that the Deadlock wouldn't. They know that they can safely get back over to A main, try and re-clear into Rubble now.
And they know for a fact there'll be an A-side player, plus the Baby Door presence of Heat after spotting him out with that stealth drone. Fast lane here for Roxy can be used. We've sort of seen it used at an angle there to give you access to tree so you can toggle the door at least.
Careful here.
Prize, of course, the newest addition now. Sets his feet, he knows he's going to get busy later.
And Havoc peaks. Could have been his undoing, but is at least able to survive, try and get back to Prize to anchor this site.
He's committed. He wants to anchor, but there's a Rolling Thunder in place. So Prize has to have his wits about it. He's here with the paranoia now, and Oxy was hoping to capitalize. Relay ball around the corner of Prize. Absolutely dominated.
30 seconds
Havoc
left.
fell soon after. And like flyers, Furia are falling. With only a player over towards the stairs. It's again a 3-gun situation for them, but at least they have the breach in play.
Khalil is hoping that maybe someone will over-push. That's essentially the only way Furia are going to get an opening. And if that doesn't happen, which, look, it won't, C9, they are steadfast in their positions on site. This is inevitably going to be a save. And unfortunately, Rafa, almost caught. Khalil's got his back, though.
All well and good for Furia to walk away. Another 3-gun save for the defenders. And Cloud9 economically are booming.
That's back-to-back rounds that Oxy has found first kills for the team. Coming into this game, Oxy in the entire league was number 2 in total first kills and the first kill to first death ratio, only Kesnet above him. But hey, just trying to make a go at it today to pass Kesnet in that category.
He's 39 and 27, which is almost like a 1.5 ratio first kill, first death. Very, very good for a duelist here in Americas. And look at this, it's almost too easy for the guy.
When he gets in that form, that's when C9 can really become a contender to get to these international tournaments. You know, for the first half of 2025, it felt like we never even saw Oxy in that prime 2024 run. You know, like that form that he was in where he was just dominating game after game. He hasn't needed to do that, frankly, in a lot of these instances. Other guys are picking up the slack, but theoretically, when you get him in that zone and you have Zeppa playing at one of the higher levels he's been in a while, and then rounded out by 3 very solid players that they've brought up, you know, from challengers, then listen, we are cooking with something with this C9 team.
And Cloud9, having not attended an international event since Champs 2022, have that regular season Warriors moniker on them they want to shake off, right? They look great last year as well in Americas. During the stage 1 stage, the group stages was fine. When they got to the playoffs though, they faltered. Here, they've got to land the plane so they can get on a real one.
Absolutely, and this is a game here that is just one more step on that journey. If they win today, they are in the playoffs, locked up that spot. And Furia, well, frankly, at 0-3, doesn't even need to be stated, but they are on death's door at this point.
It's not within their control anymore. At best, maybe they sneak through. That's a lot to ask. And I think like Furia have been a lightning rod for criticism from the Brazilian community. They want to see hunger from this team.
Oh,
they feel like they're seeing a lot of apathy.
He's been co-streaming and losing his damn mind watching these guys, that poor man. They need him back in the server. I'm sure he wants to be there too. All right, early fault line to force Havoc back. As the rest of C9 intend on gaining space towards Rebel again, it's going to be pressure on Prize.
The conditioning is sublime. Look at where Furia are playing. They've got to quickly scrabble to get in position. They overloaded that mountain spot for another round after that timeout. Prize this time's going to get kicked by that, but Oxy has to back away from the relay bolt. His doesn't find a connection. Now all the util going to be thrown. Prize still sat pretty on the site, still wanting to anchor, and now he's got backup from drop.
This has allowed all of Furia to get here. As you mentioned, you drop Havoc swinging back with Oxy, who's still pressed forward.
Oh my goodness, he's going to do more. He tries, slides on in. Despite the fact that Furia had 4 players on the wrong side of the map, gambling on a mound play, they rapidly get in position and hit C9 before they can be a plant.
There was a beautiful fast rotate from Furia, and credit to Rafa, who sent out that Rolling Thunder at the perfect time. We saw from the helicopter point of view, Oxy was just getting bogged by util for a solid 15 seconds. Just had to try and stay alive, throw out the fast lane, hide behind the wall, hide behind default box. Prize at the same time felt like he was surely going to die, but his team bailed him out big time. Great Furia round.
That was a Rolling Thunder used by Cloud9.
Oh my
this
God.
time, a fast 8 hit. There's going to be a wrap coming pretty quickly, though. Ned has to be aware of this now as he tries to slip away.
Oxy's trying to get through 3, has to go whoa with the shorty. He gets the first at the very least.
Okay, finds his 1-for-1. Now tree control over to Cloud9, but quickly, Furia nipping at their heels now. The Jaguars are hunting for them, but that's ready to throw down on Rubble. It's a trade. Vic gets to upper. Cloud9 know yet again, now that there's players behind them, they need to push off this site into the enemy spawn side. The Nightfall comes in and Vic wins a very important duel.
Oh, beautiful Armageddon as well. That's just going to force Havoc out the way. Vic is trying to make that rotate towards stairs.
They have no control. Havoc has to fight his way into the map, and Vic says no. Another push through, another frag taken. And Prize, great anchoring in the last round. Stayed alive, that was the most important part, but now he needs to do more than that. He needs to mow Cloud9 down. Vic is in drop, he finds it. And there's the trade, Zeppa gets in. Cloud9 are up to 5.
I respect that Furia came into that round off the back of a really well played Briar trying to keep that pace going, aggression, throwing that 4-man split down C and B on defense, just right at them with that Neon ultimate running full speed. But the C9 response was picture perfect. They rush forward into the site, flip the map, plant for the opposite side for the defender's spawn, and then they take that heavy control fighting forward.
We saw the same in the pistol round, right? When they got wrapped on the C side of the map. They will push off the site, gain further extremity control.
Furia have loved going for this early 3-man setup towards Mound. Again, early pressure, they face one-way smoke. All right, we insert Khalil, who can try and teleport away after taking an engagement, and there it is. Well, he's going to be running right into the salvos.
Ooh, just gets away, but takes a bunch of damage. Cloud9 try and bait that push up on the extremity C side, but Furia aren't fooled this time. Oxy couldn't sell it on the A side, but perhaps here at C he can be more convincing. Well, Havoc there is going to apply the Socratic method straight to his dome as Oxy falls and Rafa tries to make his way to waterfall. Here's Havoc! He is hungry! And he sees Zeppa is paranoid. 4 kills for the duelist. And that's a well-earned smile on his face.
That was a snappy 4K from Havoc. What an impressive first kill, shutting down Oxy, who's just at maximum speed running in. Dispatches him, and then beautiful crosshair placement for the second two. Excellent play from the Furia duelist, who seems to be in the server and mentally trying to just keep this team in the damn game. Early on, C9, they had some good plans there. I liked how they had the salvos positioned for where an Omen pushed up would be teleporting to. They're one step ahead of Khalil. But Furia, they're playing with this pace. Again, they are not slowing down. They're not getting shook by the situation. They just flowed right back in together. That was beautiful.
Cloud9 have been using the prior round to influence how they play the current one. This time, they try and use Oxy to sell some action over on A because they know in the past, Furia have pushed up C to try and wrap on them. They have a trap play there, 4 players in position. But Oxy throws up the fast lane, it doesn't really commit, doesn't go to, maybe if he goes to tree and toggles the door, maybe you get a push up from Furia. But they're ready, and Khalil obviously is able to get out with his life despite almost being trapped himself. So Furia are also learning. In real time, on the spot,
Definitely.
They're getting a feel for C9. This is decent.
They've made a nice adjustment trying to get in for these really quick floods as well. When you get into that actual set retake situation, you're cooked against the Tejo Breach. You need to beat the timing of their util coming back up, and that's what they've done on the rounds that they've been able to win. I mean, specifically that last one. All right, Coach Jimmy calling that timeout. C9, of course, they are still in a nice leader on Lotus attack, typically favored for the attackers, and we are back to Furia, stacked up towards C, same 3 players.
Okay, we're going to get a fight here. Still the one-way as usual. Stealth drone cleared instantly. Cloud9 know that there's a player very close to them. But Havoc's able to get spacing back away. Cloud9 don't want to commit until now. Oxy comes out, Paranoid connects. He's found net. Rough game for him so far as Havoc wants to push up now. Oh, buddy, out of nowhere. He gets leapt upon. Rafa pulls Khalil out of the game. Okay, Prize is trying to see what he can dig up here, but he's a long way from the action.
What an impact kill for the IGL Mitch to claim at the tail end of that fight. Frustratingly putting Prize in this clutch situation.
Can he do it? Mitch is the only one watching this direction. He had the right angle, but he didn't expect the second. Cloud9 bailed themselves out, but it got a little awkward.
Oh, just thought that swing from Vic could have come from the right. He tried to pre-fire it, essentially just snap, and can't blame him for thinking that that was a possibility. Oh. I do like this adjustment from Furia, where they had Havoc now out of the timeout, actually push up, take the fight. He baits the util, so Khalil can stay. They can fight together.
On their way? Come on now.
Cloud9 is still trying to bait that aggression out of Furia, though, on these extremities. This time they managed to sell it by committing Oxy and the cluster storm of util that followed, but they still got what they wanted.
This time we've adjusted to the A fight. Oxy crossing early.
Oh, buddy, it's just too telegraphed. Oxy is ready for it. They fought Rubble so many times against MIBR, and they threw themselves at it over and over again. Still players here, but losing Rafa towards A. Like, what's Havoc supposed to do here now?
That's just random spam. What does Havoc have to do? He has to stay here, fight, and get 3 kills is what he's going to have to do.
Very
That's what he
cool.
wants to do. A casual 3K needs to come up.
No. He crossed. He was going to be lit by the neural theft. He's able to get out. There was also a backstab in progress, and that gets spotted out by the Cypher. Oh, the slide's pretty slick, but there's Havoc. He got 2. Not bad.
Yeah, they'll take it. And hey, he basically counts for 2 players right now with the ultimate, so we'll talk it up to a 2.5 versus 3 on this retake.
It works differently now. Not dead yet, though. We'll see if that actually is a factor. He had the chance to make use of it in the previous round and chose not to. Out through stairs. Player at rubble, Mitch is hearing all of this. He does not seem to care, and he runs straight into it. Prize, yeah, tough one. Vic here, very cerebral player, is ready to find a 3K and around with C9.
That was an absolute dismantling of Furia's aggression into rubble. Oxy just beating the timing on the stuns that came through here. Dodges the flash as well. Freest kill of his life. And then Rafa just spams through with the Vandal. They see the Tracers and Vic gets a free one. That is tragic. Havoc, he tried his best to live up to the he needs to get 3 kills. Getting 2, yeah, not bad. Well, that's still a pretty good result for him. But
it feels like that util early in the round for Furia isn't calibrated for Neon's speed. Because Oxy gets ahead of all of that. Might try to do it again here. This time it's Vic considering a TP forward. A little dodgy, but he gets into that corner.
Shadows traveling.
Smoke to stairs.
C9 do attempt to accelerate. This is the first time they're going to be running into a stacked site.
I don't know.
Really been the case. Havoc breaks that stealth drone.
Here's the door. Paranoid to follow it. Prize might try and capitalize here, but the relay bolt's going to force him back.
Great stun. Great stun. Oxy recognizing that someone could try to swing on one of his teammates after that paranoia came through, keeps them at bay. Really intelligent.
That is very far forward on the B side as well, Wyatt. He is going to see any push up. This might be a swing over with a swipe, but again from the same spot, Havoc is able to find one. Cloud9 might consider baby door now, but they're going to get through Rafa to do that. Havoc's down. That's an A player.
That's tragic elsewhere, just spamming through, toggling the door. And in the meantime, do C9, do they want to try and prod towards B, put Rafa in an uncomfortable situation, playing baby door alone.
Close fault line, challenge, Mitch takes it, wins it out, but Prize comes through the door. Okay, Vic goes down, but Rafa is cleared, so baby door is open and Cloud9 are on this B side. Guns are better for the attackers, but here comes a Prowler to try and spot things out.
Oh, great haunt, that's going to get some information. Oh, well, at least they don't know it's close as Prize now sending through the Prowler, trying to give Heat an opening who does just have that stinger. Both chokes smoked off at the moment, so he can get up close with the close range weapon.
Oh, buddy. You've got to get up early in the morning to want to beat Oxy at that kind of game. Now it's up to Prize. No util to speak of. Very little time, spotted out now by the cam. And he knows retribution will be forthcoming. Cloud9 have no reason to overcook here, and Nets will complete another solid attack side round for Cloud9.
Man, Havoc is trying so hard to will his team to a win at the moment. He did it on this map, on the Neon against NRG. He top fragged that game, dropped 22. This shot.
That is a land-only shot.
It really, yeah, you're not getting that even on 6 ping. You need 5 minimum. That's max the ping you need to hit that. Crazy stuff, but it's just tragically not enough. This C9 team are more than a legit dark horse right now. Came into this year with an abundance of question marks surrounding their roster decision-making, etc., but they have proven everyone who doubted them wrong. They are looking really fantastic. Bear in mind, this is Furia's best map. Despite the woes that they've had in Stage 1, this is where they've gotten a win. This is where they actually kind of pushed G2 to their limit on G2's undefeated map. They got 10 rounds against them. That is nothing to scoff at.
Here, though, they've been pretty lifeless, listless, lackadaisical. Okay, Paranoia are going to be following up that Nightfall here, and it does force C9 away.
Shadows traveling.
But honestly, they've been able to sort of insist on maintaining course towards the A side, but okay, Khalil's is going to take that one for free. What's the plan now?
Sixth sense that the Prowler's going to go through. Doesn't connect onto anyone, but no reason for Khalil not to just continue to post up on this angle. Now 50 seconds, they hear that teleport coming through. It's a tree. This is pretty crazy from Vic getting all this space. I respect it.
Okay, so he has a foothold. And the rest of Cloud9 likely to cross over towards door here. It looks like Prize is not actively watching for this. Here's a Rolling Thunder on towards the A side, but there are no entrenched defenders. Cloud9 don't know this, and they're going to push off a bit anyway. Prize finds one. That's Mitch is crossing past him. Zebra's going to be able to make the trade, but it might be enough as Havoc now is going to come in with that ultimate. Oh, it's ugly. Zebra cleans him up with a shorty now. Khalil might consider going through this smoke with the Armageddon in play. Rafa's going to get there, but Vic almost had 3. What a bizarre...
Everyone's 6 feet under, but hey, we got it.
Defense side win anyway.
Man, Furia had a good read on what C9 were going to do there, thinking that they would eventually just pivot into that baby door B split. They were set up for it beautifully. C9 tried so hard to sell that they were hitting A. They had the Vic TP into tree to proc the door into the Rolling Thunder, but Furia did not bite. They were stacked up Oh god, that's like the second he ran out of juice on the ult, he just gets shorty. That's tragic.
The team ace, yeah, the Pyrrhic victory there for Furia. Sparks are absolutely flying in this game, folks. But it's an 8-4 scoreline heading into the half. We're going to go to a quick break because you know neither of these teams are going to give us fans any breathing room. We'll see you on the other side.
Oof, stuck paying for that old phone? Don't be. You know, at Verizon, we'll pay off your phone. And you'll get iPhone 16 on us. That's a value of up to $1,600, only on Verizon.
There's a feeling that Furia really hit the jackpot getting to play Lotus first in this series, not having it taken away, given Cloud9 at 0-2 on this map. And Furia got 10 rounds against the best team in Americas on this very attack side that they're about to go onto.
Yeah, certainly cannot count them out. They've got a real shot at getting right back into this game. 8-4 is not an insurmountable deficit by any means when you were switching to Lotus attack. And as you mentioned, they've displayed their prowess here before. Let's see if they can get a bit of momentum back early here with a pistol round win. Oxy wants to fight, but denied by the flash.
Okay, gonna back up into the smoke here, then elect to jump back in because Mitch is saying go, go, go. Havoc goes pretty low behind the rubble. Here is gonna be Oxy falling. Interesting. Khalil gets offered up as a sacrifice to Krakatoa, apparently. Furia, their prayers for strength are answered at least. As Vic and Net have to make things happen. Net bursts out of Baby Door and finds one, but that's not gonna be enough.
C9 really overcommitted to that fight, in my opinion, forcing things too much, and they've left Vic, one of the rookies to VCT in a 1 versus 3 this year. Great shoulder picks. Just spot out the one. Good paranoia. No,
Vic! He's found two! Prize cowering inside tree, salvages it! As the Furia ship was almost scuppered. Well, the young gun Vic emerging for 2 kills. It will be Furia getting to 5 and winning an all-important pistol.
We're gonna take a deep breath after that one. The steady hands of Prize get them over the finish line. It was in this moment, yeah, where Mitch is trying to push out of that tree door, and Oxy fights forward again after they had been denied by that initial util wave. I think regretting that they tried to force themselves back into that fight.
It's kind of based swinging into your own teammates' aftershock, because they never expect you to take that timing.
The rarest of timings.
All right. Well, that was a big burst over towards rubble, but it's just heat. That leaves C pretty lightly held for Cloud9. Wanted to gamble well and made the wrong call here.
They are trying to pivot over to C with some haste. He's got 3 players here, so yeah, could be relatively dangerous for Furia. Not going to get ahead of myself, but Vic, little damage on the Havoc.
He's going for it. He's going to run into a wall of players, and it doesn't matter. He cuts a bloody swathe through them anyway. Vic, not just the one, but it's short-lived. This is tenure in halls is cut short. Leaves only 2 measly pistols for Cloud9. A paltry offering here against a very angered Furia.
They would be more than content to just go for a rewrap, try and get 1 or 2 more kills here.
They've got the bridge util. Also Bulldog there. Probably too far to collect that. Oh my goodness, it's audacious. Okay. Well, Net takes a trade, and that's Furia exiting the round with 2 Bulldogs.
Yeah, and ultimately that damage doesn't matter a whole lot. 3, in fact, at the very end. They got all 3 Bulldogs, and he only had the pistol. So, hey, Furia, they leave the round with what they brought into it. Now, Question is if they can convert this bonus against C9. Have they cooked up some kind of strat for this bonus? That is something that, frankly, all of the best teams do on these crucial economy swing rounds. They have something in the tuck. I mean, yeah, there are many pings towards the C side. It looks like they want to just try to take this early fight and slam any players that are in choke. Yeah, Vic under the pressure of the vault line.
Okay, well,
okay,
karma.
you are joking.
Karma, I guess. Vic was able to produce a moment like that early on Cloud9's attack side with a Guardian spam kill. That one hurts though. Cloud9, they need hands to carry these expensive rifles. Flash out, they might try and challenge this. Vic backs away, but actually gets clipped by the paranoia, so we'll be out of the fight for a little longer. Splish splash, baby.
What does Vic want to do? Now, listen, you do still have that Breach Taeho combo. Vic is going to get pushed, though, gets the first.
Their nerve broke. They didn't multi-challenge this. Vic had backup in fairness. 3 players in halls now for Cloud9, and they're thinking about going for the jugular. Khalil sees him. Zephyr wraps around the smoke and gets his. And there's no waterfall presence here for Cloud9, but still 3 players, 3 rifles to work with, and they're pushing up onto the site itself. Prize in a pretty obvious location, but he's able to find a key kill there. It's only the Clove left. 1 versus 2. Cloud9 have some time to go for the double swing, and he is frazzled, frustrated, and thwarted.
That is so close for Heat. That is, unfortunately, a look on his face that we've seen a lot this year on Furia. He came so damn close. He'd already won a crucial 1v1 towards Waterfall, took out Mitch on his initial swing through, and then gets one more after there were the swings coming through on top with the C9 players wrapping Bend. 3 on the round, and they still fall short. Listen, they got the spike down. That was just their bonus, but when you know that you had it in your grasp and it barely slips through your fingers, you're going to leave that round with frustration regardless.
Silver linings, though. It was a pretty costly round for Cloud9, and now their buy looks far less convincing. That fault line is dodged. Oh, there's Havoc, guys. Oh my God! Twinkle toes out there on Mount. Oxy and Vic quickly subdued.
He is just skating on them on man. That was a sick second kill. Havoc still just continues to try and will this team to a win. The shots that he's hitting have been really outrageous.
Kicking and screaming. He is Samwise Gamgee. And Furia are being brought back into the game. Now they have that presence over towards the A side of the map. Net is swimming in a palace of util.
With a judge in his hands and an opportunity to do the funniest thing.
Will stay tucked, still undetected as of yet, but the cyber cages now will be thrown up. So those layers of defensive utility are being expended. Sees the paranoia whistle pass, Net is waiting, but there's 2 angles that they could be coming from, and there's no help in upper yet. That smoke will dissipate, and Zephyr can now get involved in the game, but Havoc finds his 3rd. How did Cloud9 get out of this? It's just Net.
They haven't given him anything. He's just been praying that someone is going to walk around the corner at any given point, and then he feels like, well, I got to make something happen myself, and he's going to fall to Havoc, getting him his 4th on the board that round.
And he leads the server now. 17-13 for Havoc. Here's an early action. Look at this movement. Oh!
That is not supposed to happen after the Neon nerfs. We thought that we
nerfs,
were done
they
with that. we thought we were done with that. This always happens in Valorant. They nerf an agent that's at the top of the meta, everyone stops playing it, and then someone realizes, hey, wait, it's still pretty good.
In Americas, it was Arsena. When Arsena came out on Neon, we're like, is that good? It is. I mean, Dijazine's picked it back up. We've seen a lot of teams that are still gone for the Neon. She still does that ridiculous stuff when on the slide. Here's Imi. Chiming in once more as the gap in this game has been closed to 2 rounds. I'm going to give you spoilers. Cloud9 do not have the means to buy adequately into this one.
That was a round worth 2. The Furia economy has gotten off the ground. All players at least a few K credits right now. Real shot at stealing this map away.
And again, I've got to come back to the question, like Cloud9 chose to ban Haven, a map where they looked pretty darn good against MIBR, to go onto their winless Lotus. Yeah, give Fury their best map.
It was perplexing to me that, yeah, prior to that MIBR game, they did ban Haven twice. But that was a 13-11 loss to a top 2 team that are in the league currently in MIBR.
Furia, it's the only map they've actually won in Stage 1.
Every map but Lotus At max, they've gotten 7 rounds on, and they've allowed them to play on their home map.
Well, we got 7 rounds, and maybe more to come now. Furia are armed to the gills. And already asserting that A-side control. Cloud9 hoping to gamble for a bit of a whimsical B hit from Furia. It's not going to happen.
Brazilian side, they've been able to take this space over towards Rubble with ease, and they have Heat just making sure that no one over on C9 to push up. Oh, wait. They just spot Oxy around the corner.
Hero Guardian.
Gotta go.
Is that Nismo in the server?
That was a sick reaction tap from Oxy, giving his team upset potential on round 17.
Well, Furia have definitely been incentivized to carry on over at A for now.
They will continue to take their time. Nice and slowly.
Vic handed the Guardian to Oxy. He passed the weapon over. And Oxy is slowly encroaching here on this occupied A side of the map. Really carefully, though. Is he waiting? He might be waiting for the other players to come out of B side here, at least get a crossfire set up.
Mitch does have a full util kit on the breach. They have tools to get back in.
Okay, Oxy spotted. Okay, Guardian down straight away. Haven't caught out by the fault line here, and there's an aftershock coming through. He's able to sidestep it. But Cloud9 gearing up for this push. Another Paranoia comes in, counter from the side, and Furia looks like it caught on Khalil. Is able to find 2 from Pit. Net is the benefactor. The newest installment of the Sisterhood of the Traveling Guardian. But he has nothing to do with here, Wyatt. It'll be a hold on to the weapon and go next.
Player standing.
Havoc having a lot of confidence there. And Khalil to lock things down for him, holding from Pit. That's exactly what he does. Danger for a moment.
Clock sticking.
When Oxy gets that first kill, but Furia, they take their sweet time getting into that very free A site. Setting up some nice post plants.
So now we get into the part of the half, Wyatt, where we've got to start talking about these ultimates, right? We've been sitting on a number of them for quite some time, and crucially, it's the initiators that we're looking at. Armageddon available for C9. Rolling Thunder is available for Furia. Also, when are we going to see the Clove ultimate? Will we?
Yeah, he might be saving that for Pearl at this point. Okay. I don't know if we've actually seen it yet. But perhaps it'll finally be this round. All right, C9 over on defense. They're taking that space. Jose pressed up, stealth drone from a close distance to try and get additional info. Are they going to push all the way through onto Heat? No, they won't, but they will control all of the A side of the map. And they'd be content if that pushes Furia into some of their Cypher setup elsewhere.
I like the double back here towards A, but there's no one that's really inserted on that part of the map yet. Ned is also playing ultra passive at B, so he can rotate and help Vic out here.
Furia have been able to get some space over towards Mound. There's a minute left on the clock.
How do they look at this pace, I wonder? Because so far it's been pretty fast and furious.
Do they want to try and go back towards A? Do they feel like they've done enough to actually pull C9 away from forward positions at Mound? They want to re-clear. Here comes that initiator util, the flash, the Prowler.
Here's that fast lane. Mitch just steps right into it. No action still. Now it's going to be a bounce back for Furia with 40 seconds left in the round. There's going to be 3 Cloud9 players waiting for them at C.
They are praying that they are dragging these defenders all across the map, but they have not done so. C9 are all towards B and C at the moment.
It's a rolling thunder. There is Cypher util in play. Armageddon could catch Havoc out here. It's dangerous. He's got to get clear of that. He's got time. Gets up over towards the site. Now ready to go with the ultimate, but Net has pure stopping power. Hits him like a Mack truck. Mitch is out of the game though, so that brings you till now no longer on the table for the defenders, but time is running short. Furia have to make the plant, and it's punished. Still, Spike is deployed, but Tony Khalil to be the steward of it. Then he's found himself 3 for the round. Oxy have that ultimate ready. Khalil trying to play safe, but nobody is safe from the young thud.
We're trying to hit a headshot like that when the Neon is at max speed with the ult is so difficult. Oxy walking away unscathed. Furia tried so hard to drag the rotates around defensively, but C9 never took the bait. They never gave up those forward positions over towards A, and that just allowed them to make the right call and get the entire unit of their team over to that C side where the clock was already dwindling, and you've got your Tejo, you've got your Breach util, and at that point, you've cooked Furia.
But, once again, just like the bonus, for Furia, Cloud9 only survive with 1 weapon, so they can't stabilize. They've not stabilized at all on this defense side. They've got to capitalize here. This is arguably the more important round.
This should be a round worth 2 as C9 look to fight towards Rebel again. It's Havoc pushing through the fast lane.
Zephyr gets clear of the situation here. Mitch also having second thoughts, as I would too, as bullets whiz above my left shoulder. He falls back towards stairs.
And they would love to get Prize this orb so he can get that Fade ultimate. This A-side execute, there it is.
They're not clearing stairs. They send a Prowler towards tree, but they don't know that Mitch is right by them. With a full suite of util, but Oxy just gets absolutely booked.
Face your fear!
Zeppa going to try and stay silent here, but, well, this is going to reveal it. He will only hear silence now as the Prowler also confirms his position in upper. Havoc needs to diligently check here, but Zeppa wins it out. It's a trade.
I can't even believe he got one, but ultimately irrelevant as Khalil just shuts down Mitch, who wanted to take a timing out that smoke through stairs. And as we mentioned at the top of the round, just the state of the economy has Cloud9 in a bind.
And Net finds himself in the equivalent of Albuquerque, New Mexico, with a judge, once again, not put in a position to succeed with that weapon.
Albuquerque mentioned.
Yep. Vic here does not have a thing to do. It's about playing for Rex now in C9 because they knew this is the round they really had to convert on. The economy for Furia, though, still would have been fine either way. But this has been back and forth stuff for C9.
Oh yeah, I mean, it feels like there will likely be no point in the rest of this map where we're going to see Furia on a pure eco. Their econ is out of control, and that's got Cloud9 under so much pressure. It's one of those situations where, despite one team having the lead, you can see that they don't have control of the game anymore and the other crucial aspects of it.
They're passengers.
Havoc again on Lotus playing Neon, topping the board. This is his agent, this is his home map.
Oh, he looks good. 20 kills, 15 deaths here. Very, very solid performance.
It's one of those situations where
And yeah, every reason to smile. This team on comms is, I mean...
Except for Heat.
Yeah, Heat, well, listen. At least he has his sleeves up. That's always a good sign.
I'm waiting for something to make Heat smile for the first time in Stage 1. We'll get there eventually.
Oh, you know, wouldn't hurt? A map win. Let's see if that gets the job done. It is a very awkward round here for C9. They have a Vandal. Oh, rather, a Phantom, excuse me, for Vic. That's still with the judge.
And they are gambling at stack over towards A on this sort of half-buy / eco round, given Furia have found the majority of their success on this A site. So it would make sense to believe that they would have intentions of getting there once again. And, you know, similar to that prior anti-eco, it was Furia taking slow control of A, completely cutting noise, and contacting up.
The controls are playing a different game over at C, but in the meantime, Havoc again finds the entry on Oxy. 2 rounds in a row, he gets out cleanly.
Now they proc that door, no noise made. Obviously, Mitch not going to take any kind of peek with that shorty.
Is Ned about to get some action? Well, not the kind he was hoping for, I suspect. Again, a weak goodbye for C9, but this is Furia on the precipice of tying the game up.
That was well done by Furia, just reading the situation, understanding that they could go for a B pivot there, trying to drag players towards A, and then it forces Net into this situation where obviously he can't face anyone at Baby Door. He's got to go for the swing, and Heat on the lurk playing this Clove was ready for him.
The only rifle in the round carried by a blackened and blue bleeding Vic.
Look, obviously Clove is not a Sentinel, it's a controller in fact, but you know, the way that Heat is playing the Clove, a lot of lurking. He said that this is a role that he feels really comfortable in. He loves to be on the lurk. He's enjoying being a Sentinel player for this team.
The temptation for Vic must be extreme to try and intervene in that engagement. That's not going to happen here. He's going to sit and bide his time in tree. And looking into the next round, of course, Cloud9 will be able to get themselves some decent weaponry, and there's a Rolling Thunder at the ready here for Mitch. Look, an ultimate for C9 that we've just not seen great application for in this game so far. The one round that Mitch makes use of it is just, it's underwhelming. It's actually an empty site that it gets used on.
Absolutely not. So, C9, everything on the line here. Their economy has never been in a good position in this second half. I mean, look at the timeline. They win 2 rounds, but they're so spaced out that they've never been able to build anything up off the ground.
And those rounds they win, Wyatt, they take 1 gun out of them, 1 rifle.
All right, C9, they are all stacked up towards A. Mitch does have that Rolling Thunder. If there's a committal from Furia, they might just rip that ult on them.
Fast lanes cross here, and Vic's have to get forward towards Rubble. Furia are more than happy to draw this early util out of a Cloud9 who are looking more and more nervous.
So how does C9 want to play this now? They've gotten that A space. Do they want to just leave Vic inserted deep, who, by the way, has an ult of his own, so he can play in a committed position and safely teleport away stay committed there. If the hit comes C, teleport to the rest of the team. He's got options at the moment.
Cloud9 are ready for this. Mitch can also preempt this flood with that ultimate of his own. And Furia now, we're down to the 1 minute mark, and they're about to look at that C site.
The last time we saw an opening like this, you know, Furia at this juncture in the round, they tried to make noise A and pivot back to C late.
That would be awkward though. They have to fight really hard for Rebel.
Yeah, they didn't even commit. They just tried to send out some initiator utility and draw rotates. They're not even going for that this time. They are only making noise towards C. 3 Cloud9 players are in the vicinity.
Are they going to dive B here? Okay, no. Got to commit to the side. It's going to be at least Havoc going for it now, but it's just him. See what he can dig up. It's going to be net. Taken down. Here comes the Rolling Thunder now. A number of Furia players are committed. They're vulnerable. And Oxy looks to capitalize. Gets the head of the side, but Khalil stands his ground and eventually falls. Finally, a player advantage in around Cloud9. They've got guns to get it done with, but Heat's back in the game and Oxy's down. All of a sudden, Furia with all the cards to play.
There's no way that he should be getting a kill here. Oh my god! He catches the timing of the teleport. That is mental. C9 should have had this round locked up. And now it's all on Zeppa, who's wrapped. Back to B main. Do they expect this position? He should be good for one free kill.
Zeppa has ultimate up the back of his kill. Is there an opportunity to make use of it? He knows he has some time. But this gives moments for Furia to disperse, hit him from different angles. It feels all but impossible. Zeppa having to go for a 4K to salvage this round for C9. This round is worth everything. The most important in the game thus far, and geez, that medal is scary. Zeppa still pushed up despite the fact he was decayed down, but here comes that util. Rafa biding his time. You know he's going to get involved from upper in just a moment, but he doesn't need the help. A sick round from the Clove, and Furia finally get out in front.
That is all about Heat on that round. The question is, well, he looks a little bit slightly more happy than usual. Still waiting for a smile from him at some point.
A smile at me to anybody?
It might just take the map win. That is 3 rounds in a row, by the way, that Havoc has been able to get a first blood for Furia. So mental in its own right. But past that point, it is Heat finding a kill, and then that, I mean, catching the timing on Vic to stay alive is so insane. That really determines the round, genuinely. I mean, if Vic just stays out the way, the teleport's a half second earlier, totally different round, but we're right back in the action. Furia, they've taken that early A control.
A lot of map control here for Cloud9, but if Furia sniffs this out, they're just going to beeline for the A site and play a post plant. Cam spots all of this action now, so the players from C9 being drawn across towards Baby Door, and he wants this action. Teasing Cloud9 to try and challenge him, and he makes short work of them. Bloody smears on the ground for 3 of the defenders. Vic and Zeppa huddling for warmth here, as I feel a cold winter's about to set in.
We are finally seeing some 2024 Heat in the server. It has been a minute. This is the Heat that rejuvenated his career on crew when he made the role swap in 2024. He has been mostly absent for Furia, trying to find his place in this team and in the league again.
Come here.
But damn, he looks good right now.
He's about to get another one. Make it 4 for Heat. Man, back-to-back insane rounds, multi-kills galore for Heat.
Already
and
just,
as usual, utterly unfazed.
2 orbs away from an ult for potentially the final round. Gotten right back up there with this sick multi-kill, just lines them up. Easy spray down. Beautiful stuff.
This is what happens when you allow Furia to take you to their best map, the only map they've got more than 7 rounds on.
I think C9 are really going to be kicking themselves. They've given Furia an in to this match. They have given them their best map. They're getting punished for it unless they can rally back here.
Once again, Furia do not commit to rubble. They don't roll the dice. They don't take those risks.
They baited out the Armageddon, C9, thinking that they were going to commit. And they haven't.
They don't have a read on what Furia are doing right now. Vic's lucky to get out alive, but Havoc is going to push the issue. TP away a second time as that aftershock comes for him. The upside is Cloud9 not lost any health. No players lost in these early trades. But Furia are always able to bounce back to a different extremity and win out later in the rounds.
Things are slowing down here with a minute on the clock. C9 have remained playing forward over towards that A side. They've completely vacated B. It's just one passive info trip to know if anyone is going to second. Oh, he just can't stop Havoc. He is getting absolutely diffed.
I think Oxy is on edge there. He gets completely baited. You're right, that is a gap. Mitch now under some pressure, surely to be forced away as those relay bolts come calling, but he stays put. He doesn't have the ability to get out. 2 legs and a heartbeat is all he can rely on, and he uses it to get back into cubby.
30
seconds left on the clock, and Furia, they want to pivot all the way back to C. There are still some Cypher trips to contend with. He's trying to find a timing in towards B at the same time. No, it is all a fake. They are getting into B at the moment, but there's multiple C9 players with low time.
Heat's the person they want front and center, and here he is, the Vanguard. Zephyr wants to try and peer into the situation now, so there's a plant about to go down. It's a little risky here for Furia, but the plant is secured. And now, potential map win on the line. Heat doesn't even need to shoot there, but it's going to be Mitch that takes him out. Vic and Mitch to rely on now for Cloud9. And they need to find a way in. They give it a tap. This is going to draw Havoc forward. Khalil's going to be there to play off that smoke, and Havoc just walks up, proud as a peacock, and it is shut down. Mitch for 3. Ruffer with 2 health has to make it work. Cloud9 at the death. Claw themselves into the rounds. But again, their money is shot to pieces. It's still going to be awkward. They've never established themselves money-wise, but hey, they'll take a round to stay alive if they can get one.
I can't believe that they were able to pull that back, and I think Furia really kind of gave them that opportunity by re-pivoting last second into B, where the majority of the C9 players actually were. And from there, Mitch was able to just fire off a few flashes in a row, get his teammates back into the site, into good positions, and unfortunately Havoc couldn't capitalize on that flank. But now he wants to capitalize with the operator on attack in the last round to take an early engagement on C.
That is wild. Okay. I draw it back to the previous round. Oxy has lost all of his first engagements in the last 5 or 6 rounds. It's been rough for the young gun.
This is the classic, why not buy an off, we're rich type moment. And also, one orb, he'll have that ult.
He wants to play around the smoke. Oxy finally gets one to start the round. Had to use the ultimate for him, but he'll take it. Awkward here for Khalil. He knows he's about to be left upon, and that's 2 now. Oxy locked in. 22-18, and he knows the action's over at C. Net has conceded the site to buy some time for the reinforcements.
Furia have no choice but to get in here. All right, Oxy has ran out of that ult, but he's picked up the rifle. Mitch and Zeppa, they're waiting to get their util back. Zeppa actually just got the guiding salvos back online. Furia are congested in the site.
Here's the rolling thunder to play off of now. Furia are mad, and they want to close this out. Try and find Mitchell, they want to push but Paranoia catches out the fade. Still, Nightfall deployed. And that's a confirmation of multiple players lurking on the other side of the masonry.
What a bold choice from Furia. Stuck in the site, let's try to get out and take the fight to them with that rolling thunder. That is confident, and I like it.
They can plant. Ned had to get so far off the site because he had to confirm a switch over towards B, but Enterprise goes down. Player advantage now for Cloud9.
Yeah, Oxy just using that speed to break the crosshair
Where's
placement.
the plant?
And there's only 19 seconds left. This has to be stuck right now by Rafa. Aftershock to give him some safety.
He knows, though. Hot on his heels are going to be Cloud9. To stay in the map, Oxy crosses, tries to bait Vic into the play. But it doesn't pay off. Havoc with an op, it's awkward here on the site. He'd be the one to rely on if anybody. Flick doesn't connect. Rafa goes down and Havoc had too much to do. We're going to overtime, baby. Cloud9 refuse to allow Furia away into the series.
In the last round of regular time, C9 gamble it all with a full push out through A, supporting Oxy, using his ultimate. Supportive initiator flashes coming through there from Mitch to set him up for these kills. Perfect fault line onto Heat, and then there's that flash. Khalil could not do a thing. Has to turn that. Good luck snapping back on a Neon, running full speed across the screen.
And now Cloud9 can compete on even footing. Those economic woes they suffered for the entirety of that defense side. Not an issue when we head into extra time, and finally, Oxy gets back into the game. He gets a confidence booster off that ultimate play at the start of the round.
Up until those last 2 rounds, C9, they only got 2 rounds. I can't believe that they were able to pull that back at the last second. That looked absolutely done. Furia played such a masterful attack half against them. C9 were left with no answers, but they get to run it back on attack now where they were finding the majority of their own success.
C is the idea now, and Furia were ready for a rubble fight that just never came. Oxy's going to cross instantly. Fault line. Definitely sidestepped by Heat, and he sees a player cross. He's just not quick enough, so this means he gives up the site for now.
Oxy is silently trying to move forward. Wow, multiplayer push into Waterfall. This is not something C9 have tried yet.
Planted.
Can Prize hold his nerve? He's got with util in his hands.
I love that.
He's sold in the Magic 8-ball with 3 guns pointed at him. Not where you want to be. So now with 4 players, Furia have to make this work. They do have a breach flash and a paranoia. Here's the fast lane, and fancy footwork won't save Havoc. There's finally able to clip his wings. And the rest of Furia serve themselves up to the meat grinder. Flawless round for Cloud9.
Last round of regulation into the first round of OT. C9, they flip the page and get to the very last one in the Lotus strat book. Bring out two different things that they have not done at any point. Getting that three-man push through the dark cover into Waterfall. Prize did not expect that whatsoever. Was out in the open, shut down instantly, and then from there with all of that map control, the crossfires they can set up, make that retake nightmarish for Furia. They did not have any into that site.
It's kind of sick that you have something in reserve, right? Because Cloud9 in the past, on that C site, they pushed into halls. That's where they tried to overload.
Every single time. It was every single time. You had Oxy and Vic in, some amalgamation of those two players, maybe a third, trying to take halls. They never pushed Waterfall like that a single time. And they hit C the majority of the rounds in regular time. I love that from them.
The really important timeout now is Furia go on the attack side. Now remember, Cloud9 were taking engagements early, and it was Havoc who was winning 5 out of 6, 5 out of 7 of them until those last couple of rounds of regulation. That was what they were able to convert off of those 5v4 situations. Cloud9 have to think of a way to get Oxy involved early without just giving him up for free and having to play from behind in these defense rounds. That's hard enough as it is on such a big map, Wyatt.
C9 have intentions of fighting for Rubble. This is how the last plenty of rounds in regular time began, with the Cloud9 side focusing on Rubble, as did Furia. Early engagement.
We're going for it. Okay, look at an old-fashioned Rubble fight. Here's Havoc pushing through. What a ping, though, off the horn. It only results in a trade. But Khalil's able to get forward now, sends a Paranoia in the baby door direction, and quickly Cloud9 have to get out of dodge, except Mitch will play in tree. Looked like he was wanting to throw down. He's got to pay the piper and back out.
Yeah, that drone is going to instill some fear in Heat, who is on the run. Notice as well that if he stayed committed closer, the Neon had just pivoted over. He could be, getting rushed down by a little initiator util. Neon sprinting at him, so has to play it safe. And prior to that, great recon bolt from Oxy just to get the rest of his team out of dodge, out of Rubble, where they were feeling an immense amount of pressure from Furia's initiator util that was getting dumped onto them.
The C site is completely absent of Cloud9 players. They are not going to be ready for this. They're going to be forced into full retake, but both their initiators are standing. And Mitch has basically a full suite to work with. This should be a stately walk-up now with no challenge from Cloud9. It's going to be Cloud9 in a full retake to try and take this map away from Furia and declare
30
a fake
seconds
comeback.
They are not going to be too mad at playing a full retake when you're looking at Mitch, Zappa, both with their recyclable initiator, util pieces up. Mitch has multiple flashes.
He just used one to get into hall safely, which is fine. Diligent here from Cloud9 as they now encroach. Nets in position 2. Nothing to do but to do it. Oxy moves up, smoke in his way, and he wants to go for this. Oh, he catches him though again, doesn't check. Top box, and there goes Net. Mitch and Zeppa now, 2 versus 3. They want to try and double up here if they can, and that's Mitch for 3. Can he get away with this? Oh, he's done it, developed. He's going to let it go. Oh, Ruther not ready. Prize, we doesn't know where he is. Prize can save this for Furia. He needs to stop this defuse. Mitch knows he's there, but time is short now, and Prize is going to try and take the challenge. He wins it out. Life still in the veins of Furia.
Prize shutting down what would have been an all-timer clutch from Mitch. Getting the Rolling Thunder off the back of a multi-kill, connecting onto both players. That was sickening from C9's IGL.
And you know what? Mitch almost did that against MIBR as well. Same spot, same situation. That's gonna hurt.
On the cusp of an all-timer play.
Damn, well, he's cold. I would have thrown something. All right, run it back, folks. Round 27 coming at you, and the teams are tied. Horde again pings Oxy out, but he's in a safer spot, and there's no one really in position for Furia.
All right, that's going to be the door open towards Tree, where Heat is holding that angle, not giving it up. Doubled up with Prize over on this site.
Okay, revealed is Havoc, does at least clear the cam. Fault line to prevent any reprisal. Havoc spending most of the round disoriented. Oh, clean from Vic. That is dirty. That is into the B side, folks.
There's still a minute on the clock. C9 can slow this down, try and force Furia into awkward positions, give Net time to work. It seems like he's just content at the moment, that being Net, just making sure that no one is actually pushing on the flank. C9 want to take their time, allow Mitch to get in position with this utility so they can explode into this B site off that flash.
Cut noise is brilliant. Furia don't know where to expect this from. They tried to horn out off cooldown and they saw nothing.
Mitch flashed. There was no real committal towards B. They're pivoting back towards A. Furia have read this. They're stacked up.
This is what the players are. Furia want this, but Oxy's going to want the fight even more. Heat stops Oxy in his tracks, but there's so much more to do. And Khalil, yeah, as a loose end, he's too far from this action. Once again, both of these teams successful on these attack rounds in overtime.
Yeah, we're getting one of those OTs where both teams keep winning on their dominant side, but just can't close it out. C9, unless Khalil pulls off the impossible right now.
Mitch has built another Rolling Thunder and another overtime round, by the way. No big deal.
Okay, this is going to be tough for Khalil.
Yeah,
that's all
tricky.
I'm going to say.
Vic puts in the bed, and here we go. Cloud9 once again at advantage, but they need to win a defense side round and close the match.
Match point.
Second time they're having a chance to close out this game. Take us to their map pick on Pearl, where they are definitely a big favorite. We've been speaking about the importance of this Lotus map for Furia. The fact that they got it into this series at all feels like a win for them. This has been easily their best map, and it hasn't even been close in this stage 1. It feels like if they can't take this map, they can't take this series.
Vic has quietly been taken over here for Cloud9, Wyatt. 24 and 16 on the Omen. And again, Furia do like to play these early rounds slow.
I feel like Vic quietly taking over is really the story of his career, if I'm being honest.
Definitely one of the shining stars on the MXS roster. And we are waiting. The suspense is killing him. Cloud9, though, have not left this rubble spot. There will be stiff resistance to Furia if they want to get in here. Relay bolts used, but no follow-up. This is more stall now being deployed. Keeping Furia in their half of the map a minute into the round.
Furia has not loved going for these. I mean, come on!
He's done it again! To Oxy, of course!
How is it getting away with this every time? The reactions
Look
for
at
those shots are so absurd.
And Vic doesn't know what's about to hit him here. He doesn't know how deep into B Furia are right now. Here's the horn. Vic's able to find one. He needed more, desperately needed more. And Net was on the C side, not ready for the push out from B. All right, Cloud9, what have you got left? It's Zephyr and Mitch, the initiators.
One enemy.
And he plucks one from their midst.
That is brutal. Cosmetic.
Yeah.
Cosmetic, son, by the way. Not real. It's not real. It can't hurt you. Just take the fight. It can't hurt you.
Doing cartwheels in a field with a bunch of wingmans after that one. And here we are, folks. We are still at it. Round 29 is coming up.
Havoc is unbelievable. We are going to need to call up the stats guy and get some information on the first kill and first death numbers in this game right now, Mitch. I'm going to be honest, because Havoc is putting on a show in that regard. And Oxy was on attack and then completely flipped around. He can't get anything going on defense with the team.
I'm going to be honest with you, folks. We thought it would be a bit of work to sell this game.
Not anymore.
Yep. Delivering.
Making our job quite easy, actually. Appreciate that, Furia.
Stack up here behind the one-way. He, of course, will be forced away. This is customary exchanges of utils. Oxy was not fast enough to find the clove. And we clear our corners.
C9 have taken that orb, and now they're going to try and proc the door. Make Furia think that there could be some serious presence coming towards B. And matter of fact, that's where the majority of the Brazilian side are stacked up at the moment.
Might have a check here. A re-clear for Havoc on that B side, and Net is holding the line.
This way.
Okay, fast lane towards A. Designed to allow to toggle the door. But we have 45 seconds left in the round. Cloud9 have been great on their attack sides. Both teams have converted these rounds. Cloud9 haven't done a whole lot. Here comes Havoc. Here's the push out.
Vic is actually... Havoc shut down by the double face. And there was a dark cover thrown by Vic over towards A, which has drawn the attention of a couple Furia players. So at 30 seconds, it's now C9 pivoting into C. It's all on Heat.
It is ready for an Oxy. Whips around, though, and man, that is deadly. Prize goes down. The last layer of defense on this side. Gap in the smoke just allows Zephyr to deal with Rafa.
It's just two teams that are too explosive on attack and just can't figure out how to stop the other on defense. Khalil is in the same sad situation as the last round. 1 versus 4.
All too familiar.
At least Mitch doesn't have a Rolling Thunder instead, so that's...
No, but
that's
Zephyr always has an
positive.
Armageddon, so there's that. One of the util ultimates always seem to be around the corner. Khalil, after being informed that he cannot in fact save,
Cover going out.
we'll have to see what he can dig up here. Nothing ventured, nothing gained, they say. But Khalil sees a firing squad lined up and he knows where his bread is buttered, folks. Not too shabby for two. Oh my God, Khalil! No! Zem's able to bring him down. Cloud9 escape from that round 29, but the skin of their teeth.
Almost gave us one of the
Match point.
Trent 180 flick after the round is over type highlight reel moments. Sometimes Khalil just looks like the best shooter in the world. He gives you that like a couple times a year. Khalil is good for looking like God's gift to Valorant. He'll just give you that a few times.
Just rolling it back for you
and then
real
you're
quickly.
just like, why can't this guy just do this all the time?
I love that he goes for it. Oh, okay, yeah, they realize.
Now, something new in the fold. Oxy, he's had enough of taking first tools against Havoc. He is going to buy the Operator, Glass Cannon. I'm surprised no one has tried this up until this point, if I'm being honest, but it's something different to try and end the game for one of these teams who just cannot win a defensive round. This is C9's third opportunity now to close this game out.
He has declared, render unto me the boomstick. And lo, I shall deliver! There's Khalil down early, finally! A defensive first kill in for Cloud9, and this is looking ugly now for Furia. Mitch peers out from tree. And boy, Havoc out of the game now feels grim for Furia. They came so close. They really fought with Cloud9. So back and forth, the round ticker was looking like a Scene Kid's belt. But now Eden and Rafa have to get themselves over to A and face the music. You got that? Took you a while.
that comes away. That has killed me. All right. These remaining two Furia players, they are encircled, time dwindling.
Special delivery here for Zephyr, and that util's about to come off cooldown, so salvos at the ready. Heat and Rafa chained together.
30 seconds left.
Now need to try and find a way to keep themselves alive in this game. It is such a tall order. 30 rounds of Valorant here on the first map of the series. Doubt surely creeping in. Fatigue, absolutely. They've got no choice but to go for it. Standard deliver, Oxy does so. Still, Spike going down. Rafa doesn't have any opportunity. He's stuck over towards stairs, and that is that, folks. The fake is the fake comebacks here for Furia, but by God, they gave us a Lotus.
Tragic for Furia, who, as we were saying, desperately needed this map win on their pick. So far, it's been the only map that they've gotten a win on in Stage 1. They even pushed G2 to their limit on it, getting 10 rounds. So close